Hey guys, welcome back. Today we have a brand spanking new engine. This is a 6x6 engine. I made it pretty much over the last 2 days, so this was pretty quick turnaround for this one. It uses the exact same valve from the last engine. In fact, it is the same valve. And it runs decently despite the larger size. I've done crankcase balancing a little bit. This engine is capable of running dual vacuums. And it really likes dual vacuums because this is a big engine. It needs to move a lot of air, and it's kind of hard to get that much air through this engine considering the valve design is made for a smaller intake. So it's kind of hard to design a valve that size, but we'll give it a little run. Try to pick you guys up. This thing really isn't pretty, but it runs pretty good. See how slow we could get her to go. Okay, that's pretty good. And we're gonna twin vacuum as well, right now. Let's do it. How about that? Well, there you go. That's a 6x6 engine that runs really fast with dual vacuums and pretty decent with a single. It was out of shot the whole time, wasn't it? Oh well. I'm not good at cameramanship. So what I've done in the background, I've made a propeller flywheel for the thing, which it seems to very much like that, as it's really heavy, and I've made a load tester. So what this does, it puts a non-frictionless pin in here, and it really wants to turn that. But since it's, pinned and weighted on both ends, it puts a load on it, making it really hard to turn. So it generates a lot of heat, and it certainly puts a very big load on the engine. We'll give her a run with that as well. Let you guys hear how much this thing bogs down with this tester. It's pretty good. Sometimes it doesn't even want to run. Like that, yeah. That's why I use 2 vacuums just now. Having a little issues getting it connected though. Having trouble getting it to stick though. Just having a little issues getting it to stick. Yeah, it's pretty good. It's a good tester, just I need to improve how it connects to the vehicle. It's just not great. Yeah, this engine runs real well. Real well. Just my load tester's a little shoddy, but that's okay. I'm looking around the table here, seeing what things I could make it push up against to keep it from moving. Here, I will balance you guys against this thing. This is a pretty special episode, so I figured I'd let it run pretty long. Whoops. Give me a minute. I'm gonna fight my things. There we go. And now we'll pin this there. Push it against that, because I know that won't move. And if this whole assembly moves, I'll put a battery behind it. A lead acid battery. And that'll keep it in place. And they have to shoot. So let's go. Yeah. It puts a pretty significant load on these two. You can see that, maybe. You can see. I think you can see. Those are now separated because this got so hot it actually melted them. Partially. I think it melted it. I'm pretty sure it would have. Let's take this apart. See if it did. Let's take this apart. Oh, yep. There you go. This engine, with two vacuums, this engine will easily lock. Lock? I was looking at a little lock on my screen. Yeah, this thing will definitely melt plastic. Yeah, it'll definitely melt plastic with two vacuums. One vacuum, just barely, but just takes a little while. Yeah, this engine's pretty spectacular. Ooh, come on, focus. You can do it. Yeah, this engine's I'm pretty happy with it. It's a very beefy engine. It does have some problems, as I can't get this out. As is pretty evident. There you go. Ow, hot, ow. How about that? Yeah, this engine does have some issues. You could probably hear it's kind of real. That's not because of low RPMs, because this engine just runs like garbage. Under a super heavy load, this thing just tends to like to stall itself. Despite it having the power to keep going, it sometimes is just like, nah, bro, I'm not gonna do that, and just dies. That's okay. I'm happy. You know what? I'll pause here. We'll open up the engine. I can show you some of this stuff on the inside. Here we are. The inside of the engine, you can tell. This is the old valve. Whoa! Fighting the exposure. There you go. Yeah, you can see this is most definitely an old valve. What's that? There's something right there. Oh well. I wouldn't be surprised if it's melted plastic. Yeah, the piston's a 6x6, but since I don't... Well, I mean... I do have a proper 6x6 piston. Or a 6x6 block. But since I had issues with that, you know, because it's the head of the old engine. So I can't, you know, I don't exactly want to completely tear down the last one, because that's a design that works very well. And I don't want to get rid of something that works. I'd rather repurpose some of it, like the valve, which is an easy put back into the engine and it'll run just as it always did. Yeah, so this engine does have large, smooth cylinder walls, which is really nice for making the piston's movement not choppy. 1 second. I'm going to pause and I'll be right back. Here we go. You can see the underside of the piston. which is pretty neat. Sorry this video is so long. I want to make this as detailed as I can get it. There you go. So, KF Plus, when you originally released the improvement to, holding pistons where I don't know how to explain it, but you have two beam pieces like this with a double hole block on the end. I don't know where mine went. It must have got blown away by a vacuum cleaner. I wouldn't be surprised. But it's like one of these kind of blocks here. It's like one of these. It's like one of these, but instead of across, it's got two holes in it. It's like one of those, but with two holes in it, and you would have that and a weird connector that lets a piston move up and down, and it's a lighter design. Since I wanted to use that, but so I made a copy of the one in the engine I have now. But since I ran into some issues with that, being wide, I had to do some jankiness to make it work. But hey, it's all functional. It looks like clown vomit. It really does, but I think it's pretty good. It runs great. This engine produces a stupid amount of torque because it's just bigger. That's all it is. It's just bigger. Some improvements I'd like to make is a better valve. This thing is definitely a choke point. This engine can handle a lot more air, but that's going to require a redesign of practically everything in this engine, which I'm not feeling up for. I'm not feeling doing that. I'm not going to. I'm too lazy to do that. So yeah, a wider valve can be something that can be improved, but it requires a pretty massive change to the engine. And 6x6 valves are even more unreliable than these ones. This valve's been glued, so it doesn't come apart, but the piston hasn't. And no, I'm very lucky. This is not split in half. I think it'd be one of the coolest failures we'd ever have, but yeah. So technicalities and things this engine is way better at than the old engine design is because we're working with a 6x6 piston, which, if you can kind of tell, it's 6x6. That's a really awful demonstration, but you get the point. It's six of these by 6 of these by 6 of these. And that allows for more surface area. Off the top of my head, 4x4 piston, which is this, would have an area of 16 studs. This has an area of 36. Almost, I don't know, it's like 1/3 better. So 1/3 added on to the displacement. And this has the same piston travel. It goes up and down the same distance. So we're gaining quite a lot of displacement. I don't know the displacement in studs. I guess I could figure that out. Let me figure that out for you guys, because a lot of people would be asking that question, and I'd like to kind of try to figure out how to calculate that. Be right back. So for any of you guys wanting to know, this is the pieces I use for my crankshaft. These are not half studs, these are full studs, so they can be plugged in to like one of these beams that's the same size. There's a yellow stud piece that people use for their valves that is like a half unit or something small like that. I'm not that lucky, so I have to use these for all the parts of this engine. I tried to use gears because they're weird and they're like half stud units. The big gray gear that I usually use, which is not present, but it's smaller this way, but it's at a 45. So instead of being like this in the engine, it's like that. So I could get like 120 degrees timing out of my engine, which is really fun. Or some weird arbitrary unit in between. I'm not even sure what it is. But yeah, it's pretty fun. Anyways, another thing as well. So back to calculating the stud height. If you want to call this a stud, which it is, these can fit right down onto the plates, this gap. So this is technically 3 studs because Try to focus a little closer. Yeah, that's pretty good. So we got the center stud, which is right there. This cross at the bottom. This is 1 stud length. So this makes 1, 2, and 3. This is 3 stud crank, 3 stud length, times area of 36. So 108, I think, would be the displacement. 108 cubic studs. It's kind of a weird thing. I will get my calipers and actually measure this so I can make a real displacement thing. You know what? I'm gonna go do that. I'll be right back. Guess what? I'm too lazy to do that. I'll do that in the future, which equals may never happen, but you know, it's fine. So, oh well. This has been this video. I've recorded for almost a quarter of an hour, half an hour, getting close to that. So, thank you so much for watching. I will attempt to hook this up to a electric generator. See if this engine can do any better at making power. And I may hook this up to the big vacuum, like a 5-horse shop vac. These are like half-horse, quarter horsepower. So a 5-horse one can move a lot of air. Can move a lot of air very quickly. So I think it would benefit this engine the most. While a smaller, higher pressure vacuum works better for a smaller displacement engine. Alright, we're going up throughout the block scales. So we've went 2x2, we've had a 2x2 engine. Had a 2x2, like one of these. We've had one of these. We had a 4x4, which is that. Now we have a 6x6. We're just going up. 8x8's next goal. Just kidding. That wouldn't be very useful. Also, another thing. This engine originally was designed to have a 6-stud or 5-stud throw or crank length. Let me look through my bricks and find the right piece to show this. It's ridiculous. I think I'm out. I don't think y'all can see in there. There's a black brick right there. See it shining right there, right at the tip of my finger. That wiggly shiny bit right there. That's a 3 studs, so it's like this, but 1 piece longer. And it was designed to use this or that originally. Which, if the timing and stuff works, I'll give it a whack. I think the engine will make very stupid amounts of torque. Because we'll have way more displacement too, so the engine will have to move a lot more air. But we'll be able to turn. It's like this. It's literally like that. And because we're working with a longer lever from the center of the axle, this is going to be a very long video, but it's education. Yeah, this is education. Also, one of my videos in the past has been kind of, I wouldn't say flagged, but it has been flagged as a children-only video, so sorry about not being able to have people put comments. If we're talking about Legos here, you know, these are technically kids' toys, but yeah, so the comments get turned off on my videos because it's about Legos, which is stupid. Then you know what happened. I don't think I have any control over it. But yeah, so the torque on a lever, or torque from an engine, is the force you apply here. The force you apply on this end, the longer this lever, the more torque you make. So an engine like this will be able to go longer, but it's going to be moving the piston much faster than this side would, so you would lose speed, but you would gain stupid amounts of torque. 1/3 more torque than before. Probably drop off more RPMs. Way more RPMs. Pardon my throat. It's doing something very stupid. Anyways, thanks for watching. This video has gone on for too long. You guys are probably sick of my voice. Yeah, thank you so much for watching. Have a great day, night, morning, afternoon, and go out and watch a sunset. It's fantastic. Where I live, we're in a valley and we don't have that. Bye.